Via secret, a couple of days after spring break ended, Mom found out that Via hadn't told her about a school play that was happening at her high school the next week. A couple of days after spring break ended, Mom found out that Via hadn't told her about a school play that was happening at her high school the next week, and Mom was mad. Mom doesn't really get mad that much, though Dad would disagree with that, but she was really mad at Via for that. Mom doesn't really get mad that much. She and Via got into a huge fight. I could hear them yelling at each other in Via's room. My bionic robot ears could hear Mom saying, "But what's with you lately, Via? You're moody and taciturn and secretive. What is so wrong with my not telling you about a stupid play?" Via practically screamed. "I don't even have a speaking part in it." "Your boyfriend does. Don't you want us to see him in it?" "No, actually, I don't. Stop screaming. You screamed first. Just leave me alone, okay? You've been really good about leaving me alone my whole life. So why you choose high school to suddenly be interested? I have no idea." Then I don't know what Mom answered because it all got very quiet, and even my bionic robot ears couldn't pick up a signal. My cave. By dinner, they seemed to have made up. Dad was working late. Daisy was sleeping. She had thrown up a lot earlier in the day, and Mom made an appointment to take her to the vet the next morning. The three of us were sitting down and no one was talking. Finally, I said, "So are we going to see Justin in a play?" Via didn't answer but looked down at her plate. "You know, Augie," said Mom quietly, "I hadn't realized what play it was. And it really isn't something that would be interesting to kids your age. So I'm not invited?" I said, looking at Via. "I didn't say that," said Mom. I don't think it's something you'd enjoy. You'd get totally bored," said Via, like she was accusing me of something. "Are you and Dad going?" I asked. "Dad will go," said Mom. "I'll stay home with you." "What?" Via yelled at Mom. "Oh, great. So you're going to punish me for being honest by not going? You didn't want us to go in the first place, remember?" answered Mom. "But now that you know about it, of course I want you to go," said Via. "Well, I've got to weigh everyone's feelings here," Via said. "Mom, what are you talking about? What are you two talking about?" "Nothing," they both snapped at the same time. "Just something about Via school that has nothing to do with you." "Something about Via school that has nothing to do with you," said Mom. "You're lying," I said. "Excuse me?" said Mom, kind of shocked. Even Via looked surprised. "I said you're lying," I shouted. "You're lying. You're lying." I screamed at Via, getting up. "You're both liars. You're both lying to me, lying to my face like I'm an idiot." "Sit down, Augie," said Mom, grabbing my arm. I pulled my arm away and pointed at Via. "You think I don't know what's going on?" I yelled. "You just don't want your brand new fancy high school friends to know your brother is a freak." Augie. "You think I don't know what's going on?" I yelled. "You just don't want your brand new fancy high school friends to know your brother is a freak." "Augie," Mom yelled. "That's not true." "Stop lying to me, Mom," I shrieked. "Stop treating me like a baby. I am not retarded. I know what's going on." I ran down the hallway to my room and slammed the door behind me so hard that I actually heard the little pieces of the wall crumble inside the door frame. Then I plopped onto my bed and pulled the covers up on top of me. I threw my pillows over my disgusting face, and then piled all my stuffed animals on top of the pillows, like I was inside a little cave. If I could walk around with a pillow over my face all the time, I would. I would. I don't even know how I got so mad. I wasn't really mad at the mad at the beginning of dinner. I wasn't even sad. But then all of a sudden, it all kind of just exploded out of me. I knew Via didn't want me to go to her stupid plate. And I knew why. I figured Mom would follow me into my room right away, but she didn't. I wanted her to find me inside my cave of stuffed animals, so I waited a little more, but even after 10 minutes, she still didn't come in after me. I was pretty surprised. She always checks on me when I'm in my room, upset about stuff. I pictured Mom and Via talking about me in the kitchen. I figured Via was feeling really bad. I pictured Mom totally laying on the guilt, and Dad would be mad at her when she came home too. I made a little hole through the pile of pillows and stuffed animals and picked at the clock on my wall. Half an hour had passed, and Mom still hadn't come into my room. I tried to listen for the sounds in the other rooms, but were they still having dinner? What was going on? Finally, the door opened. It was Via. She didn't even bother coming over to my bed, and she didn't come in softly like I thought she would. She came in quickly. Augie, come quick. Mom needs to talk to you. I'm not apologizing. This isn't about you. Not everything in the world is about you, Augie. Now hurry up. Daisy is sick. Mom's taking her to the emergency vet. Come say goodbye. I pushed the pillows off my face and looked up at her. That's when I saw she was crying. What do you mean goodbye? Come on, she said, holding out her hand. I took her hand and followed her down the hall to the kitchen. Daisy was lying down the sideways on the floor with her legs straight out in front of her. She was panting a lot, like she had been running in the park. Mom was kneeling beside her, stroking the top of her head. What happened? I asked. She just started whimpering all of a sudden, said Via, kneeling down next to Mom. I looked down at Mom, who was crying too. I'm taking her to the animal hospital downtown, she said. The taxi is coming to pick me up. The vet will make her better, right? I said. Mom looked at me. I hope so, honey, she said quietly, but honestly, I don't know. Of course it will. Daisy's been sick a lot lately, Augie, and she's old. But they can fix her, I said, looking at Via to agree with me, but Via wouldn't look up at me. Mom's lips were trembling. I think it might be time we say goodbye to Daisy, Augie. I'm sorry. No, I said. We don't want her to suffer, Augie, she said. The phone rang. Via picked it up, said, okay, thanks, and then hung up. The taxi is outside, she said, wiping her tears with the backs of her hands. Okay, Augie, open the door for me, sweetie, said Mom, picking Daisy up very gently like she was a huge droopy baby. Please, no, Mommy, I cried, putting myself in front of the door. Honey, please, said Mom. She's very heavy. What about Daddy? I cried. He is meeting me at the hospital, Mom said. He doesn't want Daisy to suffer, Augie. Via moved me away from the door and held it open for Mom. My cell phone's on if you need anything, Mom said to Via. Can you cover her with a blanket? Via nodded, but she was crying hysterically now. Say goodbye to Daisy, kids, Mom said, tears streaming down her face. I love you, Daisy, Via said, kissing Daisy on the nose. I love you so much, my little girlie, I whispered into Daisy's ear, I love you. Mom carried Daisy down the stoop. The taxi driver had opened the back door, and we watched her get in. Just before she closed the door, Mom looked up at us standing by the entrance to the building, and she gave us a little wave. I don't think I've ever seen her look sadder. I love you, Mommy. I'm sorry, Mommy. Mom blew a kiss to us and closed the door. We watched the car leave, and then Via closed the door. She looked at me a second, and then she hugged me very, very tight, while we both cried a million tears. Justin came over about half an hour later. He gave me a big hug and said, "Sorry, Augie." We all sat down in the living room, not saying anything. For some reason, Via and I had taken all of Daisy's toys from around the house and had put them in a little pile on the coffee table. Now we just stared at the pile. "She really is the greatest dog in the world," said Via. "I know," said Justin, rubbing Via's back. "She just started whimpering, like all of a sudden," I said. Via nodded. "Like 2 seconds after you left the table," she said. Mom was gonna go after you, but Daisy just started like whimpering." "Like how?" "Just whimpering." "I don't know," said Via. "Like howling?" "Okay, like whimpering," she answered impatiently. She just started moaning like something was really hurting her, and she was panting like crazy. Then she just kind of plopped down, and Mom went over and tried to pick her up and whatever. She was obviously hurting. She bit Mom. "What?" When Mom tried to touch her stomach, Daisy bit her hand. Via explained. "Daisy never bites anybody," I answered. "She wasn't herself," said Justin. She was obviously in pain." "Daddy was right," said Via. "We shouldn't have let her get this bad." "What do you mean?" I said. "He knew she was sick?" "Okay, Mom's taken her to the vet like 3 times in the last 2 months. She's been throwing up left and right. Haven't you noticed?" "But I didn't know she was sick." Via didn't say anything, but she put her arm around my shoulders and pulled me closer to her. I started to cry again. "I'm sorry, Augie," I said softly. "I'm really sorry about everything, okay? You forgive me? You know how much I love you, right?" I nodded. Somehow that fight didn't matter much now. "Was Mommy bleeding?" I asked. "It was just a nip," said Via, "right there." She pointed the bottom of her thumb to show me exactly where Daisy bit Mom.